clarification on this. Brad was, made no bones at all about throwing the Hollywood Reporter story under the bus and saying that was not what Ryan said in that interview. What is your opinion on sort of what came out, what was said, and how Brad responded to it?
I don't have a clue. I wasn't there. I don't know what was said or what isn't said. All I can say definitively is because we have talked for quite some time that people are going to graduate. So that was a non-story. I think the story sort of became they're graduating and they're leaving the show, and that's never been anyone's intent, because you obviously have incredibly talented performers, you've got a successful show, and you want to keep people involved on the show. So that's all I know definitively is that yes, people are graduating. We don't necessarily know who each of them are. We're certainly not talking about who each of them are. And we know that just because you graduate doesn't mean you leave your project.
Did you read the interview though when it came out?
I read the headline, and I was like this, and the timing was ridiculous because I know my understanding was the interview was about the Glee project. What we're really excited about is that it's catching on, and that we have this huge growth in audience week on week. So that's all I knew, is that there was an interview about the Glee project, and then suddenly I saw that headline, and of course, right, the day before the Emmys, it's not something that, that's certainly not how we would care to preface the Emmy campaign, and they're fired. That's how it read, and I don't think that, I don't know that, I didn't read the specific quote, I don't know if that's what was heard. I know that the intention is that people are graduating. It doesn't mean they're leaving their project.
They all have 7-year contracts, I assume.
They're all. I don't know the exact term, but yeah, they're all under contract.
So it's up to you guys whether or not they stay or go.
It's what drives story. I think it's an interesting challenge of this show is how to keep it real. What's exciting to me is that we have this amazing group of very talented performers who the audience is connected with, who have always felt like we were outsiders and underdogs. I know it sounds ridiculous, we're doing that all, but it still seems amazing that like we're getting away with something. And what we have been able to do is add people like Darren Criss, who no one knew he existed as a performer on the show 9 months ago, and his character's taken off. His song was the biggest hit we've ever had, Teenage Dream. Went on tour. The Warblers are a huge sensation, and it just came out of nowhere. So you want to have a show that has room for that, and also treats your core characters with great stories and compelling things that keep the fans interested.
I was asking Brad, it's like, do you feel like this is a PR nightmare? Because I feel like, especially with Glee, like there's stories and then there's a little backtracking and then there are other, like the Chris Colfer thing. Like we've talked to him about graduating and he goes, no, I read it on Twitter.
In this day of immediate, call and response, like I can say something on Twitter, and I have stupidly said something. I try to just say something that's factual and interesting, but suddenly it becomes a news story because I sent a text message, and I'm excited. Here's the thing. We went from a show that we thought no one was going to watch, and we were really excited. People were saying, oh, this is my favorite show, I'm sure it's going to get canceled, to a show that people really are caring a lot about, like their favorite sports team. Why are you starting that player? Why did you trade that one? Like, that's fantastic. It just means people care about the show. Fantastic.
Do you seem going back to the do you feel like as this show evolves and goes deeper and you're starting to hear more about how fans are you taking that more into consideration or less?
Absolutely. I think that's from the beginning. We were excited. From the first time we saw somebody covering one of our covers on YouTube, you recognize, oh, people are paying attention, and you listen. It's hard to. There are no metrics to that, although we do look at who's watching the show, and we do listen to responses on Twitter and our Facebook pages and things like that. So and when people are excited about a character, you want to write to them, and when people are unhappy about some storyline, you want to pay attention to it. But the show has always been driven by the creator. The episodes are always thematically about something. The music is always driven by the story. So as long as we're true to that core and the honesty of what's going on with the characters, then that's what that's what matters. And I think the fans will hopefully believe me. I've heard some of the stories that are coming out. They are fantastic, and it's exactly what everyone's sort of hungering for right now. Is more depth and more interest, and it's there, and in a way that is really exciting.
Is that kind of what you're doing with Mercedes? Like there was a call for her, and then we've heard that you're trying to make her.
But it's also, I mean, look at the show. She's an interesting character. She's underexplored. You want to create a love interest for her. It's clear. It's obvious. It's like the characters start to tell the story themselves at a certain point. You know, the questions you want answered about them, we all want them. We all have the same thing. Like, what is that family like? You know, why does that person not have a love in their life? You know.
I was going to say, you choreograph the musical numbers, right? So much is made of the drama behind the scenes. Can you tell me, like, what's a real... I assume there's no time for drama when you guys work. What's a day like?
I think the lack of time is the drama.
I'm going to tell you, here's a funny story. I'm going to step on your shoe. We're in New York City. We're in Central Park. We have hired a crew in New York for us, and they're like, when do we have the script pages? When do we see the choreography? When do we know what's happening? We're like, we'll get there. So we literally show up. We're in Central Park, and they won't close the park for us. We can't even close a pathway in the park. So we're just staging a number in the middle of a pathway. And Zach's like, why don't we do this, and this? And we're like, oh, that sounds great. Go. So bring the cast out of the trailer. Suddenly there are thousands of fans watching, and Zach's like, you sit here, you sit here, you sit here. You get up at that point, you get up at that point, you get up at that point.
Yeah.
And he staged the whole number in like 5 minutes. And the New York crew, they thought hours and hours of work went into preparing these numbers.
Yeah, they were surprised, but I do think that it goes back to just the drama is that there is no time, and I think in the beginning of the show, because we had a bit more time because not everyone had such a distinct character. We were able to refine as a group to where at this point we know it's like you got 2 hours, put down that hot dog, stand here, let's do this, turn around and go and press play and have Ryan watch and good, go shoot it. Yeah, it's a very, very fast process, but I wouldn't want any other way.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.